to get out the way.
Guys, I know myself.
I mean, at worst, you gonna make a nigga cave.
Y'all gonna interview a lesbian too? They're very nice people.
We could.
But apparently they don't like to be called carpet munchers. So.
Yeah, this is live. Like, people can hear you.
Shit. There are some ignorant people that will call lesbians carpet munchers and lesbos. They should be ashamed of themselves.
It does look like a pregnant whale. But you swallowed the sperms well. I mean, the whale sperm. There we go.
Yeah. I've been told I was pretty good at that.
Yeah. Speaking of that, the segue. What Words with Friends is we take our conversations that me and Trent have, and then we include other people. So, you know what I'm saying? Me and Trent constantly feel misunderstood. Like, people don't understand us. Today, we brought Raynard in, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff that Raynard has going on in his life that, you know what I'm saying, we kind of want to conversate about.
Got stuff going on.
I love this guy. For a lot of y'all who may or may not know, my little brother is a homosexual.
What?
I went for a start like that.
It's just like, how you know I'm not on the DL? Like, damn, you gonna throw it out
Nigga,
there?
you have pictures of John all over your Facebook.
People might think he's like a servant or something.
But you say my boyfriend.
You know what? You gotta stay out of my personal life and off my Facebook. Let's keep going.
So what we wanted to talk about was his experience of being that, and also being African American, and also being in an interracial relationship, and how does that affect him on his day to day. So I guess we could start at the beginning. So was there like a moment or something where you like knew you was gay? Like, or was it like something that just like you always maybe you felt weird about something?
It's just something that just happened. It's like, let's try something different. That's basically how it
So it
was.
was more like curiosity?
Basically, yeah. You know, girls sometimes were a little difficult. You know, they want the extra shit. Now, getting me in with John, I know, same thing.
John is watching.
I love you. That was a joke, John. Such a lovely young man. But it was just, basically trying something new.
Just doing something.
Yeah.
And you just
I liked it because I felt like with the first dude I dated, it was much easier. Because sometimes with girls you gotta be a little sensitive and stuff. And I could easily just tell him to shut the fuck up and get off my nerves.
I mean, but I've seen plenty of dudes tell girls shut the fuck up and get
It's
off my
not
nerves.
right to talk to a woman like that. I have a mother.
She talked to people like that.
I know, that's different. She didn't have good sense. That's two different things, okay?
So I mean, was there always like a physical attraction, or that just came with the curiosity?
I always thought dudes were cute. I'm one of those people, because I did hair for years. I see the beauty in beautiful people. The point blank. You ugly, you cute, you cute. So.
So okay, once you tried it, you saw that you liked it. Now, was it a moment of like bisexuality, or was it just like, this is what I want to do, this is what I am?
Well, it was that whole period. Then bisexuality.
Okay, what's the whole period?
Where when you try, you like it, you just fuck everything that comes around. That's not ugly though. I do have standards. I could bring up names, but I do have standards. But I explored it, tried it out for a while, did my thing with it, and I liked it. It really wasn't no bisexual phase. Once I tried that first time, I liked it. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna stick with it. There's been some slip ups, So that vodka is one hell of a drink, I tell you what. Well, to be honest with you, my first sexual experience was with a guy, so yeah.
I mean, okay, nigga.
It was at the age of 19.
All right.
Damn, that sounds so bad. But yeah, 19. When I first got the Jeep.
Okay. All right.
That's why I was missing a lot.
All right. So you're trying this, you're doing this, you know what I'm saying? So how hard was it for you to live like that? Like, cause you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure, like at that time, only Montreal knew.
Yeah.
Right. Only your friends knew. We didn't know. We suspected, but we didn't know for a fact.
To me, it really wasn't hard because I'm one of the ones who really just didn't care what everybody else really thought. It's just I just didn't tell him no. That was just He was just
So you didn't care, and why wouldn't you tell us?
because I didn't want to have that whole little family sit down, talk, kind of sensitive moment, things that we don't do. And I knew it would be kind of awkward because us sitting down as a family talking about stuff like that, we just really didn't do it.
Yeah, especially at that time.
Yeah, and then it might be some tears or somebody hug. Reggie's sensitive. He cried at the drop of a dime.
Reggie watches these too.
Shit.
So you felt like it was better for you to keep it a secret, or than tell us? Cause
No, not a secret. It's just easier to just say, you find out when you find out. And as you see, when y'all found out, it really wasn't no whole little family meeting. Mama just wrote that letter that I was pissed off with.
Okay, please explain the letter.
Gosh. I came home from some extra activities.
Whole phase.
And she wrote this, I think it's like 2 or 3 page letter. Basically, in the first line, just how you said my brother was gay, she told me, I hope you gay. I hope you know that you're gay.
Wow.
Yeah, she just basically told me what I was. That was the fucked up part. Like, how you gonna tell me what I was? And, she did what any good mother would do. She explained that it's not the life that she chose for me, but she's accepted it. And all she wants me to do is bring me in her life more. The people that I'm dating, for her to meet them and all that kind of stuff. So that was basically it. It was actually, compared to other gays, it was actually a really good story because everybody's like, oh my God, you had the best mother in the world. I'm like, hell, they're like, yeah, I did. But it was like a good experience.
So why were you mad? Because I recall...
Because she had the nerve to write the letter.
Because this is before you had told me that you were gay.
I thought I already told you I did. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, let's go back to that point.
Because it was a raw letter. She was just raw with no finesse.
So let's go back to that because we skipped that. All right. So I was the first one that you told.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I remember that like very, very vividly. We was at the hospital. I remember it being like 4:00 in the morning. It was like late, and we're in the hospital. We're in the waiting area, but we're kind of like off to the side, and it's just us. And he's talking to me about Mama letting me go wherever I want to go, and she's not saying anything to me. And then you like, why she doesn't give you that same freedom, that same liberty, or whatever. And I'm like, cause she know where I'm going. I'm going to Trent House. That's where we're going. That's when y'all was all living at the
413.
Yeah, y'all was all living together. You know what I'm saying? We just go over there like every day. Everybody chilling. And it started an argument between me and Reynard. And it got really, really heated. And then I was like, if you gay, just tell me that you gay. Ain't nobody tripping that you gay. Like, if you gay, my nigga, be gay. And he was like, what, that's what you want me to say? That's what you want me to say? I'm like, yeah, if you gay, like, just be gay. He's like, fuck it, I'm gay. And I was like, whoa. Like, I had to, like, sit down and was like, because I had to take into perspective, like, was he saying that just because we were arguing, or is he really gay? So it took, like, I remember, like, running through my mind like, yo, I need to sit down for a second. Yeah. And we talked about it or whatever. He was just like, no, I'm gay. Da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? And for me personally, it wasn't shocking because it was something that we had always like suspected. You know what I'm saying? But to hear it at that moment, I don't know. I don't think you're ever ready for that statement.
That's true.
I don't think it was like, but I know that's my brother. So regardless of whatever, things that he chooses, like he gonna have my support. And then who he has sex with, that don't got nothing to do with me. So you know what I'm saying? That made that transition easier. But Reggie not knowing, like, that made Reggie, like, Reggie became like a gay private investigator. To call him a private dick with
a gay private.
He was on the search hard.
Like,
yeah.
Reggie wanted to know, like,
was he interviewing people and shit?
Basically.
Yeah.
He interviewed the girl I used to like in high school.
Yeah, he would.
That's how he found out.
Yeah.
My thing is, why he just never asked?
We did. You would always, why y'all out of my business?
Reggie never asked me.
What you had told him?
Wasn't in his fucking business. Most likely not.
So what was the point of asking?
But still, he could have respectfully asked just to see. question that everybody just kept asking. And after a while, you get tired of being asked the same exact question all the time. You know, but y'all took it well. The rest of the family, you know, at first didn't take it too well.
How did that make you feel?
It kind of pissed me off a little bit. For, you know, the type of family that we have, you would think it wouldn't be too, like, over dramatic, to be honest with you, you know. But after a while, in my opinion, it's just, well, my thing is, all that really matters was y'all, to be honest with you. Not that I don't love the rest of the family, but my main concern was how would y'all deal with it more than anybody else. Because I can care less how anybody else deal with it. Because, you know, we always raised as our own little type. Because basically I knew if anybody had anything to say with y'all being okay with it, well, we here since we stick together. If you fucking win, you fuck with all. So I know if somebody had something to say, y'all were easily going to stand up and say something. In which y'all did all these years if anybody had anything to say. Mama was the first one to chop somebody head off they had anything to say.
Now, okay, so you had an easy coming out experience. Now, have you heard some ones that were a lot less positive?
Oh yes, I've heard horrible stories.
Like what?
Oh, you know, families disowning them, people getting kicked out, family members beating them up. You know, I've heard like really horrible stories that other gays have had to go through. I feel bad for them. I was like, you're so lucky. I was like, well, hell yeah, I am lucky. But, you know, some people aren't accepting of it like our family. And for us, you know, to grow up in the church and all that kind of stuff and accept it so well, that was a shocker too.
So do you feel like it's harder to be a black gay man?
I just feel like being a black person in general is hard. But as in the gay community, I think we all have it the same. You know, we all go through the same, you know, criticism and all that kind of stuff from certain people. I don't feel like I take as much heat as your average gay.
Why is that?
I don't know. For some reason, when people meet me, they just say I'm cool as hell. Like straight dudes that normally don't like gays. And there have been quite a few who say I don't like gay men, but they're cool with me. It was like, you're cool. I wish all of them were like you.
So what do you think make you different? Like what is your cool? Like what?
Because there are a lot of gays who care too much about what people think. You know, I just don't care. Like, if you like me, you like me. You don't, you don't. I'm not going to sit here and just try to, you know, do all this extra shit for you to like me. Just point blank. And plus, I talk shit. That's why they like me, too. I'm like when we have men conversation, like at work with Key and all that, we sit there and we have all this man talk and stuff. I can sit there and have man talk with no problem. But you'll have some gays who make it awkward. I don't make it awkward.
All right. So, are you recently? Well, not recently. It'll be a year next month, right?
May 9th.
May 9th. All right. So you're in an interracial relationship. You know what I'm saying? Now, you're throwing like being a black man on top of being a gay black man, and then being in an interracial relationship.
Now, that has been sometimes difficult because you do have a vast amount of black men who, of course, find me attractive, and then they find out I'm a taken, then they find out I'm taken by a white guy, then they try to throw their little secret shade. And there's been, you know, one guy in particular who tried to throw a lot of shade. Like, don't get mad because he got what you can't get. And my thing is, I wasn't raised to see the color, and that's what pissed me off when people try to say, you dating a white boy? You like white boys? It does not only raise us to look at the person's skin tone, to look at who the person is. And that's why I try to explain to people, it's not your color of your skin, it's who you are inside. And I like who he is inside. That's why I went for him. Now, we do have our little bumps and stuff because, you know, we were raised with completely different stuff, but that's who I love. I can't help who I like because of the skin tone color. That's not what I see. And that's what really pissed me off when people say that line, oh, well, you date a white guy? Why? Like, it's 2017. Why are you still seeing color? Because the thing is, you can pass up the best thing for you by looking at the color of the skin. I'm like, it's just skin. It's a pigment. That doesn't define who a person is by the color of their skin.
Okay, now see, do you think we had it a little bit easier because interracial dating was prevalent in our house at an early age. Because we were like, when Kobe started dating Linda,
Oof, we were young.
we were in elementary school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So knowing that was acceptable, does that make it easier?
Yeah.
You know, so it was easier to. It makes it easier to not see color. You know what I'm saying, when it's introduced to you young.
Yeah, basically. Because with Kobe, he didn't. When it came to his girls, he didn't look at the color of the skin either. So it kind of made it easier growing up to basically use a little bit of what he taught us. So yeah.
So as far as so family support system plays. You would say a support system plays a big part in, you know what I'm saying, being able to live free as a gay man.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. If it wasn't for y'all, I don't think I'd be where I am in life now. You know, the support from y'all and y'all keep going and all that kind of stuff, and anybody who has something to say, y'all just stopping it right in the tracks, that helped me in life. To know there are people, the main people in my life, that don't judge me. They always say they're proud of me. You know, when y'all sit there and say, you know, I'm proud of who you are, never change. Or like when you told me one time, I don't care who you date, just don't let a guy put you back in the closet. Like hearing positive things like that helps you. And there's just so many gays who don't have that. So me being who I am today, a big part of it is y'all. I probably wouldn't be nowhere near where I am now if it wasn't for y'all, you know, telling me to keep going and all that kind of stuff.
So, so like, other than, like, what do you say is like the most negative response you've had to somebody just for being gay? Like, has there been anything, you know, really offensive or anything, you know, derogatory?
No, not too much, you know. One person did tell me I was a waste of a guy. But otherwise, I don't really have too many negative comments. You know, there are a few people that don't believe I'm gay, though.
Why?
I can't. One coworker, she said I've been putting on the front for years. I'm nowhere near gay.
So what would you have to gain by pretending to be
That's
gay?
what I can't figure out. She's like, because basically I act like the rest of you. I'm kind of a pervert. Of course I am. You know, the girls at work, you know, I'll grab on their butt and all that kind of stuff. She's like, that's just a free pass for you to grab their ass and their titties. I'm like, no, I was just playing around. So, but she still to this day does not believe I'm gay. I was like, wow. I said, before I started dating John, I said, I got video on my phone. You want to see? I can prove something to you. Well, I work for the Department of Aging and Disabilities. I'm a floor supervisor at the Austin State Supported Living Center. I work with people with mental disabilities.
Okay. So also tell me you were the youngest. What was you?
I was the youngest supervisor they ever had.
Okay. So
And one of the only male supervisors they had too. I don't know. It's just, I'm one of the ones where people will sit there and say you can't accomplish something. I'm one of the ones I have to prove them wrong. When that supervisor position came open, there were a lot of people who wanted to go for it. And there were quite a few people that had been there, you know, years and years and trained me how to do their job. And they had nerve tell me, oh, you can't get that job over me. I had something to prove. Because they feel like just because you're young, you can't accomplish something over them because they've been doing it for so many years. So I had to show all those people, I'm going to get it over you. I had to prove something for my generation. I had to show the older generation we can do just do it just as well as you can, if not better. And I beat them all out. And plus I have a drive to make that money. I'm about my cash flow. Let's just be real with it. That little bit of money they was paying me as a DSP back in the day, that $17.08 a month was not kicking it for me. And that's another thing, you know, I drive to make that money. So I know in the future I'll be set when I retire.
that's just, so you one of the ones who's gonna try to like retire early?
Yeah. Because basically, what I want to do when I retire, I want to see the world. I've seen quite a bit of it, but I want to see the rest of it. I just want to get on a cruise ship and just go everywhere. I do want to retire early. I don't want to still be, my late 60s still dealing with what I deal with now at work. I love what I do, don't get me wrong. Like, I love my job. It has its bumps where I'm just like, why the hell am I doing this? But I've been around people with mental disabilities my whole life. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't understand what they go through. Just like how, people try to treat gays and stuff different. People with mental disabilities get treated different also. Mm-hmm. And you see people on the street like, ew, get them away from me. They just want to be loved like the rest of us. They want a family. And so many families leave them there and forget about them. And so I love doing my job because I'm a family to somebody who's just left by their family. Mm-hmm. And I'm a voice for somebody who can't speak. And I've seen how my mom did it for almost 40 years. And how she would go into their lives and just change it completely around. You'll have an individual where nobody wants to be around, have horrible behaviors. And she calm them down, take them to church, and turn them into a totally different person. She makes a difference in somebody's life. And I feel like that's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. Not just, it does pay good, but I'm also making a difference in their lives. When I go to work and they run to me and say, give me a hug and say I love you and all that stuff, that makes it all worth it. All the BS I have to put up with administration, all that kind of stuff, just hearing them say that makes everything worth it.
All right, so we were some of the lucky ones. Like, we got to see, like, black people, like our aunts and uncles and stuff doing positive things. Everybody was working, homeowners, married, things like that. We got to, like, that was our reality. So, and then having that, like, center structure, like Granny, like, like she put, like, had her way. It's like, this is the way we do things in our family. And being able to see everybody be successful, how much did that play into you being successful?
It played a big role. Because me growing up to be successful is like basically my nephews having something positive to look up to. Mm-hmm. Just like I had positive role models to look up to. Mm-hmm. So I feel like me growing up to be successful, it helps mold the next generation. Mm-hmm. And that's a big thing with me. That's why I've always tried, to work hard, make good money, have a nice place and all that kind of stuff, to help mold the next generation to know nothing's going to be handed to you. You have to work hard. So they'll have that drive. Mm-hmm. My nephew Eric, I see that drive I had in me and him. That's why I always tell him I'm proud of him. But it's like, that's what I want to give back, what was given to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, for me, like, I get to hear people say, like they've never seen, or they've never known, black entrepreneurs, they've never seen, strong family structure, nobody was married and all that stuff. Like, we got to see that daily. Like, that was what we did. Like, that's what we had at our disposal. We had those positive images of, what I'm saying? It's good, David.
Yeah, you make that sound like we the Huxtables or something.
We like, I'm not finna sit here and be like, we had it just like peaches and cream, because like when we was younger, like it was a struggle.
Yeah, Jesus, Snow White sometimes.
Like we grind, but like that, knowing that certain things are possible, like seeing someone in your family own a business, like that makes it easier for you, well, for me, wanting to start my own. You know what I'm saying? So when you see that certain things are possible, the way you approach things is different.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I have my epiphanies at 4:00 in the morning, and I'm calling Trent, like, bro, like before we started doing the photography and coming together and stuff, I'm calling Trent, like, bro, this is what we need to do. And you know what I'm saying? Like, throughout, like, it was like a 2-year span or whatever, where I'm having all these ideas and goals, and it's like, yo, we got to put it all together. Like, if we run it all together, like, it'll work.
Thank God he
But,
called
like-
you and not me at 4 in the morning.
But like us trying to, you know, approach it separately, like it makes it harder because it's like I'm doing this, I got my own agenda. He's doing this, he got his own agenda, or whatnot. But like what we do intertwine so much. You know what I'm saying? We can put it together. It's like why not take over the world and do it with your best friend? You know what I'm saying? But being able to see entrepreneurship and just strong positive influences, you know, that you could just pick up the phone and call, you know, it makes it, I think it made it easier because it gave me confidence, you know what I'm saying, positive reinforcements and things like that from, you know, people, from family.
I'm happy I can be such a motivation for you.
Shout out to David.
What's up? Just popped up.
The bacon.
Looking fresh.
Yeah. David the bacon.
Why is that?
He's right there. What you asking me for?
Oh, why is that?
When I was on Facebook, I used to eat a lot of bacon when I got when I got a new job, and that was just my nickname, Bacon. That's what everybody knew me as. I worked in banquets at a hotel, and I used to work a lot of breakfasts. And for breakfast, I'd literally just get a plate of bacon, and I'd eat bacon. I'd wrap bacon and everything. And people would send me bacon recipes and everything that was bacon. I have a whole drawer full of bacon stuff. Bacon Band-Aids, bacon everything you think of, bacon soda. Yeah. And then,
Soda.
yeah, so that's just how I got my nickname. They call me Bacon Bennett. Forget my first name, forget my middle name, Bacon Bennett.
I see how the friendship works here. The strangeness. Okie dokie.
You don't like bacon? You Muslim?
I like bacon. I don't know if I like it that damn much, but you know.
Well, let's just be real here. Like, realistically, bacon is good, but you can't. But you can't eat it. You can't eat it breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, there was a time, I think it was 2013 December. I almost had a heart attack, and I figured it was probably the bacon that I was eating 5 times a day, and I had to cut back on it. Then I realized I had to cut back on Facebook because people would keep sending me. They would send me these recipes, and I would have to try them, and then I would put them up like, "Hey, I tried this recipe. It was good." But then once my heart was telling, you know, my mind's telling me yes, but my heart's telling me no type thing, and I couldn't take the bacon anymore, and that's when I was just like, okay, I have to kind of cut back on
So
my bacon.
you just became a father, David.
Yes, I did.
What is the best part of fatherhood?
Pushing the little boy to grow up fast. That's what I learned. Not only that, having 3 months off and getting paid half of it. That's awesome.
So what'd you do the other half you didn't get paid for?
I got a credit card. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, I'm still getting paid up to this point. I think next week would be my last paycheck, and I won't get paid all of May. But for the fact that they have paternity leave for the fathers is pretty awesome. And this is my first time taking advantage of it. And just being off from March 13th all the way till June 4th is just the best thing in the world. Like, it's ridiculous, bro. It's just like today he started scooting forward and scooting backwards and spinning, but he hasn't learned how to crawl yet. So I know he's getting there. My goal is until by the time I go back to work that he can crawl enough to where whenever he's with the babysitter, he can try to crawl away if he's in trouble.
I might go to Dollar Tree soon. We'll get you something.
Oh, no.
No, he thinks Chris will get you something. He'll take credit for it.
Nah, you don't have to worry about all that. $2. He's good. I mean, honestly, the main thing you learn with kids is that anything you put in front of them, they're just going to try to eat it. So, I mean, you can get him literally a pin, and that would be fine. So But without ink. Without ink.
I guess that was an excuse when you were a kid.
That's why
You ate everything. Yeah, you still kind of do it. So
Do all gay men eat the groceries?
I just didn't know I'm gay. You been telling me.
He's been knowing you for like 10, 12.
David.
No,
David.
longer than that.
Like
14.
Like over 15.
I've known you that long.
You remember
Yeah.
David? David, you over there by Del Valley.
You live? He
The purple van.
He live by Sunday Valley.
Yeah, Reno, just answer the question.
Oh,
The question is, do all gay men eat ass?
oh, groceries ass. I wouldn't know how the hell you gonna ask me a question like that. I never did it before a day in my life.
So has every man you've been with eaten the groceries?
Of course not. Somebody probably has, but there are some that do it, and then there's some that don't, and there's some who just receive it and don't do it.
The most interesting thing for me, and you remember the Jesus Walks flow that I did. I don't know if you remember it. It's just everybody wants to harp on homosexuality, but everything that homosexuals do, a straight man will do it.
I don't eat ass, so I disagree with that.
You two might be the only two that I know that haven't did it, but y'all ain't found that Melissa Ford yet. Just saying.
I'm not eating Melissa Ford
Chris, don't drink nothing. Y'all wash this glass good afterwards.
Okay.
Okay, no, I got a question. Okay, so do straight men? I mean, do gay men look at that as a sign of like they could probably convert a man if he eats ass?
That's a good question.
If they find out something like that.
It's a possibility. Because there are some straight dudes that do some really homo stuff.
Okay, what would you say is homo stuff?
Like, what's a sign?
Yeah, say when.
Like when a straight dude let a girl just sit there and play with his ass, that's sign to, you know.
Okay, that's one. Okay, finger in the booty. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Daryl,
What's
wish I
another
could
one?
say.
Oh shit!
Oh,
He just dropped the name.
no, he dropped a story that we can't talk about.
He dropped the story in a sentence. Damn.
Yeah, like
That's some non stuff right there.
that's an off-camera story.
I mean, we can omit the names.
No, because we're Facebook friends, so he's gonna see that. He's gonna be mad as hell.
You know, when a straight guy is just overly touchy with his, you know, other straight friends, and he touch body parts that he really shouldn't have, you know, that's a sign of, you know,
the locker room stuff with like ball tapping,
Yeah.
whatever the other shit that he used to do.
Or if they talk about penis size just a little bit too much, and then that's kind of homo too. When you ask them about their junk and all that kind of stuff, you know, it's kind of
So a straight guy having anal sex with a girl, is that homo stuff or no? Like y'all consider that like okay, maybe I can get it because he's been in the asshole before, like.
So asshole. That's the question.
Oh, I thought you said he's been the asshole before. I was like, I'm not supposed to know this about him.
No, I was just like, have you been? No, I wasn't like that. No, I'm asking.
Not particularly say that. But if a dude is too obsessed with an asshole, then yeah, he probably have homo tendencies. There are some straight dudes that are overly obsessed with fucking a girl in the ass. Then I'm like, nah, my nigga, you probably a little fruity, just a smidgen, you know.
So like, what are the signs that you noticed? Like, if you like back when you were straight, how did you know like that guy who's supposed to be straight, it could be a potential victim? I guess is that the word? Is that the right word to use?
I don't know. That makes it seem like
Don't let him pick the word.
I don't know. A potential partner.
Well,
Fatality.
some gays believe in it, some gays don't believe it. A gay dog. Sometimes, you know, you can just look at a guy and you can tell he's a little bit gay. Or when a straight guy asks a gay guy too many questions about gay stuff. So you got a few more questions before I start saying something.
One of my best friends, he's gay, and he says that he has gaydar. So, and most of the time when he talks about somebody like he might be gay, most of the time he's right.
Yeah, sometimes a dude can walk past you, just walk past you like, okay, that's gay. It's just something about him.
More than likely, he's in LA.
That's all it is.
He has a gay ambiance.
It's like a dude walk by, I'm like, yeah, he's gay. There's something about him, he just had a gay scent to him.
Is there a connection between being gay and eating baked wings?
Huh?
Sure, what kind of
No,
drink do you
no,
have?
it's not a dream.
Inside joke?
Was we in California, right?
Yeah, it was in LA.
Yeah, we was in LA. And we were in
We were looking for something to
Wait,
eat. We were
first
walking
off,
down LA.
you already went down the rabbit hole because you said you were in LA. They already do shit after
Yeah,
that.
and
Yeah, we were in West Hollywood.
Yeah, we were in West
Okay.
Hollywood, and we didn't
Of
know
course,
that was
it
like
makes
gay
sense.
central.
Are you
Yeah.
saying when he suck on the bone too much?
No.
We
Like,
saw a sign advertising baked wings.
like like we go to Pluckers, they not finna serve us baked wings. So he's saying like baked wings is that it sound like gay? Like
I was actually just making a
Yeah.
joke. I know.
Oh!
Yeah, that's-
I like that.
But there's more of a story behind this, right?
Oh yeah.
We were walking through like we just went on adventures. Like we rented a car and everything, but we just walked everywhere.
No, I agree because when me and Trent went to LA, I remember one night we left and we walked the block. By the time we got around the block, there was a pimp standing on the corner waiting for his hose, and it was morning time already. Bruh, you remember that?
Yeah.
It took us forever to walk that block, and I remember having video footage of it. But my dad recorded over it because he was talking about the homeowners association. Anyway, long story. But I just remember that part. Like LA is something weird. Like that's
it was different. It was a different world out there.
Yeah.
And Austin is becoming it.
Yeah, that's true. Austin is slowly adapting to a lot of LA's rules and regulations and stuff. It's very interesting, and it kind of pisses me off. But whatever.
So do you think living in Austin makes it easier for you to be gay? Like more because it's like the city being such like a hippie type.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. If we anywhere we lived, I think it'll be the same for me. So, as long as I had y'all, I think it'll be the same for me anywhere. As long as we went into like no Amish community or something like that. But otherwise, anywhere else, I think it'd be the same for me. I don't know about other gays, but for me, I feel like it'll be the same.
So why don't you like teach other gays, the ones who struggle with like acceptance and things like that, like how to be more like you?
Because some gays don't like who I am and don't want to be like me. And
Why? What do they not like about you, basically?
Some say I'm stuck up. I don't see it. And some say I'm cocky and stuff. I don't see it. I just know who I am.
gay jokes like that.
Okay.
Stuck up.
But you know,
Do you think it's because the fact that you have a stronger do you feel they have a strong support system?
oh yeah.
Okay, so the fact that you have a strong support system, that they might basically draw that off of because you have a strong support system.
It's a possibility. And then there's a lot of gays who just don't feel like learning from somebody around their age. They feel like, well, what the hell can you teach me?
So when you become like an OG in the gay game,
It's a possibility they'll listen to you
Did
then.
you say the gay game?
yeah.
Okay.
But you know,
As we can tell, what is this called?
Words with Friends.
Words with Friends. He doesn't have a lot of words, so he uses the best ones.
it's like, and when you try to teach ones around your age certain things, they feel like, well, what can you teach me? Blah blah blah. And then they try to figure out a way to try to tear you down and be like, yeah. That's
So wait, so what type of teaching do you have? If
You know-
okay, let's put it like this: if you were a professor in you choose a word.
Gayology.
In the gayology, if you're a professor in the gayology, like what would you have to teach?
Well, basically, I feel like gays have gotten a bad rap over the years because the class that we used to have is no longer there anymore. And so when you teach some of them, they're just like over the top, outrageous, like you're too much. I try to tell them you're bringing down our community, and some people feel like no, they're not. Blah blah blah. In my perspective, they do, because there's a lot of straight people who are standoffish because basically how they act and how they present themselves. They present themselves, not all, but some present themselves with no class.
Explain that.
Basically, when you do, like, calm it down. But honestly, when they try to make a point that sometimes is valid, people don't take
You
them
gotta
serious.
make sure you're not covering the sound part.
Okay, so let's let's break this down. When you say over the top too much, because I've heard that same argument when it comes to the black community, right?
Mm-hmm.
People say, okay, well, this black person doesn't act like this black person does it too much. Is that the kind of the same thing you're talking about?
Yeah, basically, because if you're standing up for a point and basically you just over dramatic with over top, nobody's gonna listen to you. Nobody's gonna respect you. It's how you carry yourself is when people's gonna listen to you.
I mean, but isn't like the movement all about freedom though?
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
thing is,
You are.
if you want to be taken seriously and people to listen, sometimes people take certain gays as a joke, and then even though they sometimes have valid points, they take them as a joke and they don't listen.
Okay.
So sometimes you do have to tone it down to make your point. And then some people just trashy as hell. Just like in the straight community, you got trashy ass niggas. Y'all like, y'all, nigga, you nasty. And there's people in every community that's like that.
Yeah, that's true. Trashy, flashy, doing too much. I agree on that. But what about the people that have been holding it in for so long that finally when they do come out, they're just like, I can be free, and they just want to express it. Okay, let's put it like this. Is there a time for when somebody's been holding it in since they were like 3 to 15, right?
Mm-hmm.
They come out at 15, 16, everybody accepts it, they're just like, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah, he spoke on that earlier. He called that the whole phase.
So that's what I'm saying. Okay. Yeah, so from 16 to 17, you're just letting everybody, I'm happy, I'm free, I do what I want, ball out. It's like basically giving a football player that's 21 years old $1 million contract. You know what I'm saying? So like, can you really blame them from doing that because they're actually free now? Like, how do you as a teacher just be like, alright, I respect that, but I'm gonna let you know.
There's a way to do it. Because basically I had my little phase where I was just like, wow, but I still didn't go all the way trashy. You know, I had my whole phase, but I just wasn't nasty with it.
Okay, well this is a good one right here. Check this out. Because women talk about this certain phase where they talk about the promiscuous phase. Do you think there's a phase like that when it comes to coming out? Where there's a phase where you're just overly happy and you're just, I want to just do whatever I want, blah, 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 put it out there. Do you think?
For some, not for all.
Okay, I get you.
Because I wasn't like that where I'm just,
So, but that's what I'm saying. So your side is like, for some it's that, but then for some it's not. But when he was talking about the whole being free, like, is there a way to accept both sides?
Yes, there's a way to be free, and there's a way, if you want a point to be made, how you have to put it in a professional way. Because you can express yourself all day long, but when you're trying to make a valid point and get something done, sometimes you have to bring it back down to reality. Because people aren't going to take you serious when you're talking about something that means a lot to you. As in, you know, gays fighting for equal rights and stuff. Do you think when these gays wanted to get marriage approved and stuff, went in the court all over the top and now motherfucking judge and all that stuff? No, they went there professional because they had a point to be made and they wanted to be taken serious. So when it comes to the gay community, if you have a point that needs to be made, sometimes you have to tone it down and be direct on what you need to say.
Yeah, but I mean, doesn't that come down to like the leaders of the gay community?
Yeah, but thing is, anybody can be a leader in the gay community. It's just you have to hold yourself with class and to be understood.
So it's
no, go on.
I was gonna say, so basically it's kind of like you wouldn't go in a job interview, you know, dressed in hood attire. You would want to wear a suit, tie.
Okay,
blah,
so
blah,
it's basically dressing for the part type thing, right? If you're going for a job interview, you're not going to get the job interview acting like a certain person unless you're going for that certain job type thing. But there are some people that are going that aren't necessarily interviewing or just being themselves. You see what I'm saying? Like for any class of people, any type of people, whether it's let's just put it out there. Okay, for white people, they talk about their white trash people, and it's like, oh, they're bringing down our people, whatever, because they're white trash, whatever. Black people, they talk about the hood people and all that stuff and this stuff. That for feminists, they talk about, oh well, prostitutes and strippers are bringing it down because they're doing this and this. At the same time, then they're trying to bring that part up because the whole slut walk and slut shaming and stuff like that. So every type of facet of life that you can think of, they have a movement for it to back it up. And it's just like, I think what everybody's trying to realize is just like, no matter who you are and what you do, just accept people for who they are. You see what
That
I'm
is
saying?
true, but when you're trying to make a valid point, nobody's going to listen to you when you're over the top.
Okay. How do you think, let's bring this perspective, how do you think that Martin Luther King handled it when he was doing a movement, Malcolm X was doing a movement, but they were on different sides? He was basically, Martin Luther King was just basically like, you know, I'm going to do the protest part. If somebody hits me, turn the other cheek. And Malcolm X is just like, okay, I'm going to do the protest too, but if they hit you, you need to defend yourself, defend your family, you know, stuff like that. So like there's always two sides of the same argument. It's just two different ways to handle it. You see what I'm saying?
But both men were respectable men in the community. When they went to handle a certain situation, which with both of them talking with the president, legislature, and all that kind of stuff, they didn't go in there all basically just too much over the top. They sat there and they made their point. And the thing is, when you're sitting there and you're trying to make a point to somebody, and you're just like with a ratchet person trying to make a point, even if it's valid, when they start getting all in your face, you don't pay attention. So sometimes you do have to bring it down and get professional just so your point is heard.
But that's what I'm saying. You do realize there are some people that aren't trying to make a point, though, right?
If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But I feel like some of them don't hold themselves in the class. And that's not just the gay community, any community.
Pretty
There are
much.
ratchet ass people I say that just, it's trashy.
That's true.
Okay, this is something I want to know. Okay, is it fair to, when people bring up the gay struggle and the black struggle, is that like a fair comparison in your eyes? Because you identify with both.
That's a good ass question.
Yes and no, because, well, somewhat, because basically they're both fighting for rights. So, yeah, you can say it's somewhat the same. Some people probably won't see it the same. But at the end of the day, the gays marched for their rights. Martin Luther King and everybody, all the blacks back in the day, marched for black rights. So basically, they all fighting for equal rights. So in a way, you could say they are somewhat similar.
Yeah, but I mean, like, some people argue they not turning the hoses and the dogs on the gay people when they
Well,
march.
that's what I'm saying. It's because black people didn't have as many rights as they did back in the day, so they were allowed to turn the hoses and the dogs on them. You can't turn hoses and dogs on protesters these
So do you
days.
feel that they would do it if they could? They would.
There are.
I'm just saying. I'm saying back in the day, it wasn't. They weren't worried about who you liked as a man or a woman. They were worried about the color of your skin. So when they were fighting for black rights, they didn't care whether you were gay.
Yeah, I
gay or
get that. I'm
straight.
saying if they could do that in 2017, do you think that they would do that? Like if those same rules applied,
I would
they-
say if they can do that in 2017, if they can still release hoses and dogs on it, then yeah, that would be equal value because they would be getting the same treatment that they did back in the past.
No, I'm saying, do you think they would do it?
I think they would.
But of course they would.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Like the Pride Parade, the amount of numbers that they get for protesting, like, or just going out and marching for Pride, just hey, I'm out, I'm proud and stuff like that. The numbers that they get, yeah, if they were allowed to release the dogs on them and the hoses, yeah, they get the damn dogs and hoses on them. Like, let's be real. Like any type of if you look at now, basically what happened back in the day when people were protesting for civil rights, just basically made it a lot easier for people to protest about anything nowadays. People protest for anything nowadays, no matter what it is. I don't like it. What am I going to do? I'm going to go protest. I'm going to get a bunch of people that think just like me, and we're going to go protest this. I don't want this movie showing at this movie theater. Let's go protest it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think this comic book is right to be pushed in my community. I'm going to the comic book store and we're going to sit outside and protest. Whether it's 2 or 3, and it's just like Fellowship, which is very, very interesting, is that whether there's 2 or 3, you're a community, you're a family, and you're together.
Okay, so if it's so easy to do, does it take away from the effect of it?
No, not at all. It's just the fact that the people that we talked about paved the way for people to do it now. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and we bring them up a lot because they were going for the same goal, but they were doing two different things in a way, and they basically paved the way for every type of class, citizen, like no matter what you can think of, to find a way to fight the system. Like, I'm gonna get my voice heard by standing in, by sticking up for myself, by speaking, by using my constitutional rights to get my point across. Like, that's basically what they were doing. You know what I mean? And that's what people are doing nowadays. Like, because of them, you didn't have the Caucasian. You didn't have the Caucasian people back in the day protesting stuff. What did they have to protest? If they did protest, they were protesting, hey, these guys are getting too many rights. And we need to fight that. But you're fighting someone's right to fight for rights. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's why you're on the wrong side of the fight. And so now when you see it and it's happening now, it's really only been, projected in the media with basically, I guess you can say, Donald Trump voters. It's just like, hey, these people are fighting for their right and we don't like it. They're saying that our guy is racist and we don't think that our guy is racist, so we're fighting back. And at the same time, who knows? Are they right?
Hell no, the motherfucker's clearly racist.
But that's what I'm saying. No, okay. Then let's say this. Is he racist or is his movement racist?
Well, you know what? A lot of people are saying that the things that he's saying are just more or less to represent the community, so that voted for him.
That's true, because if you think about it, the people that were at his rallies and incited violence, they're suing him now because they're just like, I committed violence on these people at his rallies because he told me to. He put some fuel in my fire. He put some fuel in my gas tank, and I just felt like I wanted to punch a black person in the face. I wanted to kick a Mexican. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're suing him now, and they're his supporters. So it's like it's just interesting. Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah. So, do you think, like, Trump in his private life, do you think he believe like that he supports the things that he says?
Yes and no. Yes, because I think he's at that age to where he grew up around like his father and his grandfather to where it was normal. But no to the fact that if you saw his personal life before he started running and started pushing this platform, he did have friends like Tyson and Snoop Dogg and Omarosa. Part of his that's what I'm saying. Right? Yeah. He did have these people as his friends, and it's basically, and I understand because I heard it from one side. It's just basically like, Trent's my best friend, and I'm gonna stick with him no matter what, right? Because he's my best friend. Like, whether he's right or wrong, if somebody else is right when they're talking about him, it's just like, yeah, you're gonna be wrong with me, but it's just like, hey man, you were wrong. Like, it's that type of thing. It's just like, it's like, so when his people say he's not racist, he's not this, he's not that, it's just like, they might be right because he's never been that to them type thing, right? But you're projecting this other stuff, generalizing basically that all these people are this type of way. And it's just like, you really don't realize that you're generalizing a lot of people now. You have this platform and you're generalizing a lot of people. But like,
Donald Trump's a really smart dude. Like,
no, he's not. The people around him are really smart.
But I mean, but if you're smart enough to keep really smart people around you, like, you know what you're saying is wrong.
Okay, no, let me tell you why he's not smart. Because everything that he said, everything that he says about women, he has a daughter. Now, the number one thing I know, and I'll bring our homeboy into this, Mr. Chipmunk or whatever, homie, like, when he had a daughter, he changed. You see what I'm saying? Facts. Because he had a daughter, and like, there were plenty of times when he just like thought twice before he said certain things or acted upon certain things because he had a daughter. You know what I'm saying? Donald Trump has no filter. no matter how many daughters he had or whatever, no matter how many women he had to have kids, it didn't stop him from saying or doing what he thought was right, basically.
I mean, but a lot of people in his position, like Donald Trump, is like an attention whore. So I mean, could they just be ploys for attention?
No, it could very well be that, but at the same time, I feel like it might have been that when it was during the campaign, but you got the people you got to run your campaign. Okay, this is a perfect example. When he was running, you have Kellyanne, you have Ann Coulter, who wrote his books, wrote books on him. You have Steve Bannon, and those three people, they're quiet now. Kellyanne doesn't do as much talking on the TV as much because she couldn't defend him too much anymore. Sean Spicer is the guy gets up every damn press conference and he can't defend him anymore. Ann Coulter, she doesn't get too much TV time anymore. Like, it's like all these people that were with him, they're not ride or die, basically, if I can put it like that. They're not ride or die because they're falling to the background now. He's pushing them to the background, and now he's promoting his family. At the same time, his family doesn't have any experience. Not to say that those other people had any experience. He knew what he was doing. He had a platform. He was running on it. It got him to where he is, and now he's trying to figure it out. And that's all.
Yeah, because I mean, he's admitted that he didn't expect to win.
No.
And then when he felt out he had a shot at winning, like he was like, "All right, I can win this thing. What do I need to do to win?"
I think the best part is this is the best way I can bring it up. It's funny because, yes, maybe there was about 50% of people that voted for Obama because he was black. The black voters voted for Obama because he's black. Maybe 50% of them, right? But at the same time, I'd probably say about 30% of those people realized once he wasn't doing what they thought he was going to do, talked about it. They went back on their word about it. Like, man, I voted for him, but shit, I didn't know he was going to do this, and this, whatever, right? Okay, because black people, we've been getting screwed for so long that we know when we're getting conned, right? You see what I'm saying? But with Trump, it's different. It doesn't go like that. And these people are realizing every week he's going back on his word, and they're not holding him accountable for it. My dad had a store in Kerrville, Bennett's Grocery or whatever. I believe it was in Kerrville. I'm not sure. And he told me, he said, he was talking about his grocery store. He was telling me the story and stuff. And I asked him one question. I said, "What did you learn?" He said, "I learned not to give black people credit." So basically, what that told me was that you can trust people for as long as you think you can, but once they go back on their word, you can't trust them anymore. And that's how the black community is, period. Am I right? That's how the black community is. Mm-hmm. You can trust somebody until you can't trust them anymore. With Trump, it's not like that. They can trust him till they can't trust him anymore. They still trust the motherfucker. What's that?
Because I don't think people want to be wrong. It's like, oh no, we gotta ride with it. We gotta stick this.
That's what like. That's what we're missing in the black community is the loyalty.
Facts.
They have loyalty so strong in the Caucasian community. It's just unparalleled.
I mean, but that's like deep. That goes back to like Willie Lynch and all
it
that
is,
shit.
but that's what I'm saying. That's what we don't have. You know what I'm saying? You can hear there's certain jokes where just like Asians don't like Asians, Mexicans don't trust other Mexicans and stuff like that. In black people to an extent, it's just we shit on our own people sometimes. We beef with ourselves. They say the black on black crime. I'm not gonna bring that up or whatever, but I mean that is a problem. But it's not. It doesn't correlate with the problem of people profiling us. But it's a problem within our community. You stay out of it.
Okay.
This is our community.
With the profiling, how much of that do we put on ourselves though?
That's what I was just saying. It's just like if we talking about black on black crime and all this stuff, that's within our circle to deal with. Just like family business. You know what I'm saying? If I have a problem, me and Chris are gonna know about that. You're gonna know about that because you family. TMZ doesn't have to know about that. You see what I'm saying? Like that's family business. But it's just it's one of those things. I don't feel like everybody should be policing our family business. That's for us to, because you're not in our community. So you were talking about black on black crime. You don't have to worry about that. That's affecting our community, not yours. You know what I'm saying? So when somebody profiles us outside of our community, that's for you guys, the police. You need to get that in check. Because every time I got pulled over, I had a do-rag on. Who usually wears do-rags?
Black people.
Black people.
And Asians now.
No, Asians when Tokyo Drift was going on, not Asians now. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just one of those things where it's just like people need to stay in their lane and they need to realize that it is basically based on category and
Factionalism.
factual. Yeah, basically that's basically it.
Do you currently still wear those do-rags all back?
No, I don't. I learned very quick. Believe me. Let's just put it like that.
Did you have tinted windows with these do-rags?
No, I didn't. But this is the whole point. Like, I would have to wear it because I work at a country club. So if I'm driving to work and my hair wasn't put together and I had a lot of hair, I'd have to have a do-rag so I can keep my hair down. So by the time I got to work and took my do-rag off, it looked like I had a haircut. They didn't know it. Like, literally, this is the type of stuff. It'd be like, man, I need a haircut. Really? I can't tell you need a haircut, David. It's just like, yeah, well, I have a lot of hair if I fucking pick my hair out. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's stuff that they didn't know. You see what I'm saying? like black magic. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's stuff that they didn't know, but it's stuff that we know. So every person riding around with the do-rag is not a gangster. Is not in a gang. Does not smoke weed. I might have hung out with those people that did drugs, but I didn't do drugs. Like, you know, stuff like that. Well, it wasn't Chris. I'm talking about the back. It's just the fact that the society is so generalizing of things. Like, it's just like it's bad for business. That's basically it. Like, to think that you see a white person and you automatically think, okay, they're privileged. They have more money than me. That's not right either. You see what I'm saying? And that's a lot of what happens in the black community. So, like, for each side, there's a good argument, and people don't like to talk about those conversations. But it's just one of those things. Like, you just can't judge a cover by its book. Oh, you can't judge it.
Okay. I'm like, will he look at my face to correct that? What is that?
Alcohol talking?
Yeah, I'm like, James is getting to him. Yeah, point a little bit.
Book by its cover. But you know where I was going. Yeah. Book by its cover, you can't judge it. Like, period. Because as much as, I mean, we can only speak for our community. And, like, on the outside looking in, like, we just have to be aware of everything. And if you wanna call out somebody, you always have to realize that, you know, they can call you out on stuff too. So you have to talk about that also.